Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to whoever's in the world you are streaming here on Twitter as well as on Twitch and YouTube. Finally got all our platforms synced up here in unison. It is time for another edition of. I always forget to turn the volume down on my separate devices. Pisses me off. I'm sorry about the echo. All right, people. Allow you a couple of moments to hop into the chat, say what's up. If you're watching on Twitter, just click the Say Something button at the bottom of your screen. We have reached June gloom here in Los Angeles. Cloudy day outside. The moment the calendar hits June 1st, right around there, we get some gloomy weather, hence June gloom. Sun will be back in July. Kind of the way it works, I guess. All right. Sam in the chat says something. Yes, say something. You get the show. You take the instruction quite literally. We're on a couple minutes early today because I have to go do the pregame show with Coach Sam Mitchell at 4 p.m. Pacific. So I'll be out of here around 3:45 as opposed to 4 o'clock usually. But until then, whatever's on your mind, feel free to fire away. It's Wednesday after Memorial Day. I imagine a lot of you kids out there, a couple of my producers at SiriusXM were stumbling back to the office after long weekends where you guys go hard all the way Friday. Well, you're going hard Thursday because you get off Friday. So you leave the office Thursday, you get nuts Thursday, you get into your hotel or your share house on Friday. So you do Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and then you commute back to the city on Sunday. That trip back to wherever you're from is miserable. After 3 straight days, 4 days of relentless partying in your 20s. Thank God you got your youth about you. I remember those days fondly. Fondly. But you know what my solve was? I lived at the shore house, so I didn't have to commute back. I stayed there during the week too. Giant ass shore house with like 20 people inside of it. All gone during the week. Had the whole place to myself. That was sharp. Raining like crazy out east, says Paris. Yeah, you guys got some northeaster. Weather's been terrible up there. Weather's always terrible. How do people live in the Northeast? How did I live up there for 18 years? What is the benefit of living in the Northeast? The weather sucks. People are angry. Sports are on late. All the good-looking people are on the West Coast. Everything's expensive. What's the benefit of the East Coast? Just that it's convenient. There's the corridor, the north, go from Boston to New York to Philly to DC, all in one little swoop. Like, oh my God, I'll never, ever go back there. Y'all don't know what you're actually stay there. Don't come out west. Please, please stay there. Never mind everything I said. Do we really have to talk about basketball? I'm trying my hardest not to do it. Can we not talk about the offseason either? These series aren't over yet. I'm exhausted. Terrible call on today's show. This one guy was like, hey, he's from New York. He's like, hey, why don't we package Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby and trade them away? So we were like, okay, great call. For what? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, what's even possible? And then I like proposed a trade. I'm like, you understand that's not possible because the second apron, you can't aggregate contracts. Oh, no clue. They got to go. This is why I'm not going to be doing content much longer. I can't do it anymore. I can't. I'm just in too deep and having these conversations about how everyone's always looking to the off season. They make no sense. I wish I could be plugged. You know that scene from The Matrix where Cypher is negotiating his terms and being reintegrated back into the Matrix, and he wants no memory of what the real world in Zion is like. That's what I want to do with the NBA. I want to go back to just watching it casually, flipping through the channels, drinking a White Claw, yelling at guys to make shots because I'm just exhausted. Hoping for no safe space quite yet for Wolves fans, says Sam. Well, enjoy these safe spaces because I'm retiring this bit after this season. There's one account in particular that will go unnamed, but it's just been repurposed by so many different corners of the internet. The whole purpose of it has just been beat into the ground, the same joke over and over again, and I'm going to be the source of it, like usual. So we move on from a lot of these like NBA Twitter things when they start going a little bit too mainstream, and maybe we'll move on to something else at some point. But maybe you should have stayed in the gym, Coach Mike. Don't have car problems. Are you casual Knick fans ready to retract Brunson best ever stupidity? What is that in regards to? Best ever Knick? I don't think, maybe if you won a championship, you could start to have the conversation. I don't think anyone sane would ever formulate that hypothesis. Hellwick's back from a 3-day cruise. You summed it up perfectly. Yes, I admit you spend all those days, then you got to go back home, then you got to get ready for work the next day. The Sunday scaries really kick in on Memorial Day. No, actually, you're partying Sunday, coming back Monday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 nights, 5 days of travel and partying. Monday. Right, my producers could barely keep their eyes open during the post-game show, and I'm like, wake up. You cannot use the 3-hour commute back from Manasquan to New York City as an excuse. I have done that shit. You have to find a way. Even people in their 20s, you can't party 5 straight days on no sleep. You can't party 5 straight days. Bino says, hey, Wob, checking in. I signed up with the Wob code thanks to the show. Let's go next. Hey, we appreciate you, and so does ProfitX. They're sponsors for this stream. Let's put them up there and give them the love they deserve. What are you guys betting on tonight? I know what I did. I've got a bet that I'll share with you, but I'll wait for the chat to share their opinion first. Once again, you sign up for ProfitX code WOB. That would be much appreciated. And then you can figure out what you want to do from there, but just simply creating an account is for free. Rob, for next year, the framing office needs to add a quality third guard. We don't have the quality backup point guard. Every time we play, I'll place us at that position. We need a quality backup big and a better. Okay, you named every position on the floor. Do you want to back up? The Knicks are going to be in the apron. They'll be lucky to be able to go out there and get a guard for like $4 or $5 million. But it's got to be someone that's more of a table setter than like Deuce McBride's combo guard campaign is lightning in a bottle. You need a floor general. You need to go find a Monte Morris, a TJ McConnell, a Tyus Jones type player that can initiate offense for others. What the hell was that? Did it just go in and out? Initiate offense for others while Jalen Brunson's on the bench. Bagels. Ano says bagels. I like bagels a lot. Everything bagel makes my day. R. Riley, sorry. Jesus. R. Riley, as you can tell, I'm exhausted I got so many shows I got to do today. My brain is mush. What parts of LA are fun to live in for the common guy? West LA, West Hollywood is your answer. And if you're trying to live here on a budget, probably North Hollywood. Culver City, underrated. Culver City is brand new, coming up. It's also the hub central for commuting support I was looking for. It has the Apple campus, the Sony campus, Amazon Studios with their sports are there. So if you're in NBA coverage or NFL, that's where their HQ is. Culver's actually really nice now. It's brand new. I would not mind living there at all, but I'm by the beach. I live at the beach, away from civilization. Super silly guy says that's just fans, sadly, but the second they aren't diehard, like the sport loses a bit of value. True. RIP safe space. Yeah, I've had enough of these safe spaces. What do you mean by I'm exhausted? Is that just Mikal Bridges? Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, the Knicks, as I said, Les, you probably heard me by now in some form of communication through the Twitter video or the Sirius XM show. There's just nothing else the Knicks can do with their current style to beat the Pacers. And there's too many possessions per game. War of attrition. Now you got Cat banged up. The Knicks have been blessed with health and availability for the entirety of the playoffs. And you play the Pacers at that speed enough, you're going to bang knees like Karl Anthony Towns did last night. Now he's questionable for Game 5. It's inevitable. You can't assume health. And that's what drove me most nuts about Knicks fans always saying last year, well, if OG's hamstring was okay and Brunson didn't get hurt, Mitchell Robinson didn't get hurt, I'm like, what is this, NBA 2K, where you just scroll down to settings, turn injuries off, and keep going? No. When you have a top-heavy roster like that, and the Pacers play 10 guys double-digit minutes last night, the Knicks still got good minutes from DeLon Wright, and it still wasn't enough. He led the team in plus-minus in back-to-back games at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. What more can you ask for? Tibbs went to DeLon Wright out of necessity in both of those games. He went to them in necessity because Jalen Brunson was in foul trouble in Game 3. And then he earned the trust to go out there and get the minutes in Game 4. But the Pacers, man, the Knicks score buckets, and the Pacers are already in the front court going to the rim by the time the camera angle resets. It's remember the 7 seconds or less offense in Phoenix? This is like 5 seconds or less with the Pacers. The problem is they're going up against someone who's just as good at it as they are in Oklahoma City in the finals, if not better. H4 Venom says, hi, Rob. Once again, I'm going to ask, do you think Tatum's injury will affect the Celtics in the offseason the same way it didn't if he didn't get injured? Jesus, sorry. Or will the C's move differently now, you think? They have no choice but to strip down for parts. Bill Chisholm just overpaid for this team. He's not going to pay $250 million in luxury tax. They got to get beneath the second apron. And I do think that Jaylen Brown could and will get traded despite all the wonderful things he's done for this franchise. The math just does not work any other way. You would have to dump Kristaps Porzingis for practically nothing in return otherwise. So it's either Porzingis for nothing or Jaylen Brown for you. There are plenty of options in which you can retain future assets as well as a win now player. But without Tatum, you're not winning the title regardless. So what are we doing? Why would he pay $500 million in salary and luxury tax for a team that is going to cap out a first-round exit? That's just not realistic. This is why Wyc Grousbeck sold the team at the absolute top, coming off a championship before the repeater luxury tax kicked in, and he got $6.1 billion for it. He should get the cover of Forbes magazine. This is the only place where Nesmith gets the recognition that he deserves, not even in Indiana. Man, before last night, because Halliburton's going to win Conference Finals MVP, I would have considered giving Nesmith Conference Finals MVP, not just for that Game 1 performance, leading the playoffs in true shooting percentage, but the work that he puts in on Brunson. And Brunson's still filling up the box score, by the way. Still filling up the box score, but Nesmith noticeably makes his life a living hell and makes it as difficult as possible. First play of the game yesterday, Aaron Nesmith wets that three, and then he picks up Jalen Brunson full court. He was questionable coming into it with an ankle sprain, and I was going to be watching the first couple of minutes because, man, if he started going underneath high ball screens and let Jalen Brunson kind of get downhill a little bit, that game would have gone a lot different. But he went out there and he held his own like always. Brunson will still get his points because he's just too good. But over time, Nesmith just wears that pressure, disrupts flow, and it just results in the Knicks offense. The ball sticks so much. It does not move to the equivalent of the Indiana Pacers. And that defensive dynamic is due in part to its cornerstone. That is Aaron Nesmith. No one else can guard Brunson like him. Nobody. He was the sneaky MVP before, but now it's obviously Halliburton. Do I consider Halliburton a star if he wins this series? Come on. What are we doing? CP3 veterans minimum. I don't hate it. I don't hate it for the Knicks in the offseason. I don't know if they'll be able to do vet min depending on which apron they finish with. Bagel with peanut butter and bananas is elite. No, it's got to be an everything bagel. Hold the bananas. Oh, I got to tell you what I bet tonight. Here we go. Here, I'll do it again for you. Timberwolves Thunder. Tonight's pick is in. We are going to. So we hit. What did we hit in the last game? Oh, Anthony Edwards unders was big one for us, right? We nailed that one. I am taking a prop for my big bet tonight. We're going to scroll. We're going to scroll. There it is. It is Naz Reid over 9.5. Down 3-1. I think the plug gets pulled on Rudy Gobert and or Julius Randle early. Naz Reid has not played a whole bunch of minutes in this series. I don't think that he's, let me just process this. I don't think he's gotten the opportunities probably that are, wow. We need some liquidity. 38 cents? Can someone from ProfitX go in here and match? We only have 38 cents of liquidity available? Is everyone just betting the over? Wait, oh, I see that there's different numbers. Hold on a second. Cancel unmatched. Cancel this bet. Okay. Okay, is it fully matched? What's going on here? I think it's fully matched. I was just going to bet the 106. I see the dollar signs down here, 160. I can bet up to $60 on over 9.5. All right, we took care of that. So, what was I saying? Oh, Naz Reid. Yeah, this is going to be one of those if we fall behind, which you anticipate with OKC, we're going to need to go out there and just start trebucheting some threes. Rudy Gobert might be played off the floor in the first half. Julius Randle is going to be trying to make a point because he struggled these past couple of games. He could potentially get pulled. Naz Reid will be the first man off the bench. You saw the success that Nickeil Alexander-Walker and DiVincenzo had. I think you're going to see a lot of this bench for Minnesota tonight, whether it's by blowout or it's from necessity. So expect Naz Reid to play the most amount of minutes he has for the entire series. And as a result, that over-under that you're looking at right now, 9.5, it's been 11.5 for a majority of the series. So you're getting a discount compared to some of those games because they've all gone under by like 1 or 2 points. So I will buy the low here. Have I been to the Intuit Dome yet? I have not. I have not. Culver City used to be Culver City Studios where they filmed the Andy Griffith show. I don't know if I want to live in the high taxes and homeless there, though. Well, LA is so big, first of all, that it'd take you 2.5 hours to get from one part of the city to the other. If I was trying to travel from Newport Beach to San Bernardino in rush hour, that would be a 2.5-hour trip. So you got to be a little bit more specific. It's just not condensed like an East Coast city. It's a sprawling metropolis. Neesmith right now might be the best screen navigator in the league. That I might agree with. It's not even, he doesn't ever switch. And I found that if you were listening to the Tony Allen interview today on today's show, he said it was a cardinal sin for that type of defender and anyone that's in that fraternity. They all talk and they're like, switching is a cardinal sin. That means you capitulate, that you give up. We, as first team all NBA defenders, get through the screen one way or another. And how many guys end up, or teams do you see just acquiesce every single time to the other team desiring one of those mismatches to exploit? Aaron Neesmith has never, ever surrendered inside of a high ball screen in which he wasn't blindsided or the communication didn't prepare him for it. And the way that he's able to beat you to the point of attack will prevent that Jalen Brunson or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, hopefully, from turning the corner and getting downhill. You got to beat him there because otherwise you end up like Jaden McDaniels, who I would consider to be one of the best on-ball defenders in the entire world. The difference is Jaden McDaniels is comfortable playing behind players and on their hips. But when you're going up against Shai, who has the length, you're not making up for it the same way that you do against other players. When Shai puts you on the hip or in the back pocket, it's game over. And that's why Jaden McDaniels got so frustrated. He shoved Shai in the back at the end of game 2. Because he's probably just, I want to get through these screens. Shai's got a head start on me, and I'm not able to use my length and versatility to make up the difference when I'm playing from behind, like I can with quite literally every single other person on planet Earth. But Shai is the master. Axel in the chat says, as Argentinian, I'm used to watching FIBA. I would like to see what happens if FIBA referees referee in the NBA. And I'm not talking about much about specific calls and specific players, more like game fluidity and speed and face, which I think you meant pace. Um, yeah, I mean that they permit a lot more physicality. The structure of the quarters is different. They have less TV timeouts. There's a reason why the NBA plays 12 and not 10, because they can get in an additional TV timeout to sell to their advertising partners. They micromanage the rule book in the regular season so that the stars are available for the most important games, both the showcase games in the regular season as well as the playoffs. That's why you see so many ticky-tack fouls. Also, by enforcing the rule book that way, you get records broken, which is going to drive, viewership and shit like that. Star power, more chances to make stars if everyone's dropping 40, 50 points, even though it gets diluted. But the FIBA style of play, like when you're watching the Olympics, that's by far the most attractive basketball product possible. But since the NBA is a business more than it is a representative of the game, there's a reason why they don't have FIBA rules. It's mostly dollar related. But yes, there's nothing I love watching more than good Olympic basketball. Those referees are just like, y'all figure it out. No take fouls. They're unsportsmanlike. Don't they do this? Unsportsmanlike. Any intentional fouls, they get called. And yeah. Forbes isn't anything anymore. Maybe they cover The Economist. Really? All magazines are going to die. Vanity Fair's dead. GQ. Being on the cover of Forbes. What about Fortune magazine? All print magazine, Sports Illustrated. Talk about a brand that got butchered. First Sports Center. That wasn't a magazine, but ESPN was a magazine. They butchered that. Sports Illustrated's reputation is gone. That used to be something that people would pay monthly to have delivered to their inbox, and like getting into Sports Illustrated would mint up and coming stars in any sport worldwide. Thoughts on Randall's performance in the Western Conference Finals and if he's capable of getting back to playing the first two rounds versus Thunder? Sure, but man, did anyone listen to I can't imagine many of you did, but I go, Coach, because I'm doing these shows with Sam Mitchell. We were thinking about the same thing. And I go, before you proceed, he was talking about, you know what? I used to coach against this guy, and he didn't want to name names before. And he goes, I coach against this guy where we rooted for him to make his first three of the game. And do you know why, Rob? And I'm like, I know exactly where he's going with this. Because if he makes it, then he's going to think he should keep shooting for the rest of the game. And he's not going to be taking advantage of his best basketball qualities, which was getting to the rim and using his athleticism to finish over the top of people, because he was a versatile swingman. And I'm like, Coach, don't say the name yet, because here's what we're going to do. On three, I want you to say who you're thinking of. And I didn't ask for questions about what era he played in or anything. I go, I have a feeling that we're talking about the same guy, because I knew when Sam Mitchell coached with the Toronto Raptors. And I go, 1, 2, 3, Josh Smith. We say it together at the same time. I'm like, no way. That Josh Smith theory was something I created in the early 2010s, where I was taking clips of that Detroit and Atlanta home crowd when Josh Smith would make his first three of the night. You could hear the fans audibly groan through the broadcast because they knew, oh no, he made it. Now he's going to shoot 9 tonight. And then he's going to go 1 of 9, 2 of 9. And guess what would happen? 1 for 1 became 2 for 9. And Julius Randle has the Josh Smith theory covered completely, because he had that one game where he lit it up from the outside. Now he's falling in love with the three-point shot. His entry passes to initiating his offense are coming via DHOs, where he's standing 25 feet away from the rim. I'm like, Randle, he's going to turn, he's going to face, he's going to jab step, and then he's going to do something ridiculous. And he does not have Steph Curry's three-point shooting ability, but sometimes he thinks he does when he should be down there bully ball trying to go through Chet Holmgren. Then he got gun shy because the one time that he did it off of a missed three of his own, he gets the rebound. He goes straight through Chet Holmgren's chest, but Chet Holmgren went vertical. They reviewed it during game 4. They reviewed it and it was overturned. And we never saw Randall at the rim for the rest of the game. Like the Josh Smith theory, man. So accurate. Tsunami says, "Hey Wob, Wendy said the Bucks want to stay competitive because they don't control their draft pick for the next 5 years. Please tell me we can get Giannis for Cat and whatever. I'm in hell and I can't sleep." Yeah, Giannis is going to get traded, but he will return a package that keeps you competitive. But what are you going to do without Dame? Dame's out the whole year, so you're screwed next year. But Giannis should and will get traded. It would be incredibly foolish not to trade him. Incredibly foolish. You will cap out at 6 seed, 7 seed in the East. You'll be destroyed in the first round again. Your cap situation only gets worse. You won't be improving anyone around him. You got to trade him. You can bet Ant Edwards unders all you want, but money will never offset the fun you might see. Well, that's why I bet you guys knew I bet every single Ant Edwards PRA on the board, and every single one of them cashed. It's nice when one of these predictions actually goes word for word. I told you he's not going to get a 15 field goal attempts tonight because OKC will have it and get the ball out of his hands at all cost mode. That was the game. And he may try and make up for it tonight, but they really capitalized on him not being in super ultra aggressive mode early. Didn't even attempt. He didn't score a point, I don't think, or attempted a shot until the 9.5 minute mark in the first quarter. And it wasn't because they were sending double teams his way. It was just those point of attack defenders with Dort Caruso and Cason Wallace. They were just overloading the coverage to that side. They were choking off all of his avenues. And he's not at the level yet of Shea where he's creating for others equally to what he gets for himself. And he will get there at some point, but he's 3 years behind Shea. But Shea is just in a different tier and a class when it comes to creating space and making the right choices in the face of pressure. We've seen a lot of Ant Edwards struggle against the Denver Nuggets in last year's playoffs, the double overtime game this season at Ball Arena. Anytime that he gets pressured, being the spearhead of an offense, he does seem to look quite mortal, despite him being super fun. Patty Trill asks, when are we getting another police chase? I don't know. Why don't you go start one for us? Everyone knows how to get away. Every chase ends now with guys going downtown and using restricted airspace. The criminals are so smart. Even the chat got the Josh Smith. Y'all remember the Josh Smith theory or the Josh Smith syndrome? There is no player in NBA history that I have heard fans, they don't boo, but they're smart enough to know, oh, shit. Oh, or as Antonio's kid would say, biscuits. When Josh Smith makes a 3, your game is over. And Josh Smith was so athletic, man. Talk about someone who could handle the basketball at the size. He was huge. He was Julius Randle's size. And he could probably jump a lot higher standing vert than Julius Randle. And this dude, for some reason, decided to do that long wind up 3 where the ball started by his hip. And it was like, its whole Michael Redd motion to it. I'm like, oh my God, what do you, every time one of those goes up? Oh my God. It's gonna brick and it's gonna sound like a Thanksgiving ham falling off the counter when it hits the backboard. Any leans on the money line or spread tonight? I haven't. What is it? 9, I assume, because game 1 was 7.5. I'm going to assume. Let's see. It is. That's a lot of baseball. I bet the Toronto Blue Jays tonight, if anyone cares. 8.5. Oh, all right. I like the Thunder, but I didn't bet it. I do think the Thunder close it out. -320 is a little too steep for me. But plenty of liquidity here on ProfitX. So let's scroll up so you guys can see it. Minus 320, 1674. They're available. You can bomb them away. Campaign form. What are you talking about? What's going on with my right eye? Am I missing something? Looks normal to me. Fix your internet connection. What else you guys got? We got about 10, 15 minutes left. Someone in ProfitX's X chat asks, if you guys lose, do I think Tibbs is gone? Some people that know things think that Tibbs is on thin ice. I don't know if that's necessarily the right move. Who you going to bring in to it's just a game of musical chairs with Budenholzer, Frank Vogel, Tom Thibodeau, Doc Rivers. $28. What do you say, ProfitX? $28K also available on Thunder. Is that what that? Hold on. That's a lot of liquidity. Is that what this means right here? Here, let me click. Get back on the screen. Oh, I see that. $700,000 traded. Wow. 194,000 traded. Oh, I see right here on the right side. Can you guys see what I see? There. Okay. 28,000 at plus 102. I have. Oh, I see. And now do you keep moving it when I put it on the screen? So now it's the featured plus 102 at 28,378 liquidity. That's a lot of points. So that means people are stacking Minnesota, I would assume. They've got big bets, big whale bets on Minnesota. Fair. I think OKC wins and covers, but I'm not in a rush to bet it. I am on Naz Reid's overs tonight. Naz Reid over 11.5 points is my bet. Malone is CAA. That matters. Have I said? Oh, that's right. Malone is. Because the big one of the big CAA parties is coming up. There's two big ones: All-Star and Summer League. Let's see. Last year it was 2 years ago. It was at Allegiant Stadium. Last year, where were we? Oh, the paddock at the F1 track. I would say the Allegiant Stadium party was better, but it's always funny when the Knicks contingent rolls through. It's like Tony Soprano walking in with Syl and Bobby, Christopher. They come down the escalator, and it's always Leon, Tibbs, Worldwide Wes. Who else is there? Maybe some assistant coaches too, but yeah, Michael Malone's a CAA guy, I think. I have seen him around the parties, and he's a New Yorker. That would make a lot of sense. And since that is a CAA only type of employment opportunity, that would certainly make sense. He's a vets coach. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it is more Goodfellas than CAA Mafia represents. I'm just I'm the guy cleaning the shoe. I'm Cheese Boy. I'm Cheese Boy from Goodfellas. Hey, Cheese. No, wait, is that Sopranos? Sopranos is yeah, Sopranos is that's when Sil's blasting off about the cheese, I think. I don't know. Someone can fact check me on that. It's either Joe Pesci or Sil. Who do I think the Knicks get to replace Hart in the starting lineup? DFS, Oubre, Highsmith, and those are all names. Those are all names. The Knicks are going to need themselves a backup point guard as well as I don't think they need another swing man, but you can never have enough. At some point, we got to get Pacome Dadier some minutes. Why else did you draft him and retain that space that his cap hold has? What else, guys? Got a couple of minutes left before I got to bounce. Last show, you guys wouldn't stop asking me questions when I was trying to leave. This always happens. When I got time to burn, you don't ask questions. But when I got to go, then you just pile in. Pile in. Let's keep him here. Let's keep him in the chat. Shams claims this offseason might be the craziest ever. Do I think that's possible? Yeah, it's going to be crazy for sure. Giannis, Durant, the Rockets, the Spurs. There's a lot of trading stars, potentially John Morant, Jaylen Brown, Jaren Jackson Jr. Who knows? Miami's going to be up to something. Everyone's going to be in play to try and make a deal. So, yeah, I'd say this is going to be long gone are the days of unrestricted free agency where the player is choosing a team because they've just signing. They're usually just signing extensions now. And if they don't get it from the team they want, then they force a trade to the team that they want. Then they sign the extension before they ever see free agency. Oh, by the way, LeBron is on a player option. Who knows what he's going to do? How did I end up getting toilet paper? Good question. I ordered it from Amazon, and that shit was here in 14 hours. I couldn't. Amazon is how they get shit to you so fast, man. Crazy. Ordered it. I ordered 6 rolls off of Amazon. Amazon Basics cost me $6. It was at my door within 14 hours, 16 hours. But I played tennis for the first time in a long time yesterday against my main partner. And I thought speaking of toilet paper, before I went out there, I'm like, I usually have to take a dump before I play tennis. I couldn't get it out. Then I went and played tennis, and Harry Potter reached the Chamber of Secrets hard, quickly. Thank God I was home. Otherwise, we would have had another alley poop situation. You know, sometimes you just get hit with it when you're working out. Like 5-minute warning, 5-minute warning. And I had to waddle my ass back upstairs from the tennis court to Jeff Daniels, that toilet. That's probably too much information, but it brings up the time. Have any of you played at Hudson River Park in New York? It's on the west side along the West Side Highway. It's one of the most gorgeous courts you can possibly play on publicly. The only problem with the Hudson River Park is the bathroom is nearly a half mile away. And that happened to me at Hudson River Park. And it was the most excruciating half-mile walk of my life trying to hold it in because there is nothing between the sidewalk and the highway. So you're just like, if you're going to let it go, it's going to be in front of thousands of cars that are passing you during rush hour. There's like a small little barrier between the sidewalk and the highway. There's nowhere to hide. No bush, nothing. And I made it down to the bathroom on like a beautiful Saturday when a public restroom usually has a line or it's occupied, all the above, right? Somehow the stall was open and I got in there with like 15 seconds to spare. Otherwise, I was going to do it in the sink. No, when it hurts, it hurt. It was so bad that it hurt. And you would figure, why don't you just run? You can't run. Like the crippling congestion like hunches you over like you're a hunchback. The pressure coming out of my gut because of the blockade in my small intestine. You have to like hold it and waddle. Man, how old are you? Asking about Jeff Daniels. Jeff Daniels in a toilet. Let me be more specific. Harry, a toilet. Dumb and Dumber. What did this stream turn into? Oh, there was a stream, all right. There was a stream. You didn't know what you just typed into the chat. That stream turned into something nasty for sure. Do my neighbors think I talk to myself all day? Shout out to Olga. No, because now I closed the door so Olga doesn't yell at me. Did I guys tell you about what happened with girl I was dating walked into Olga's apartment twice? I think I did, right? That Olga came out and didn't have like a shotgun to my head was so surprising. And I think it's because I was the one neighbor who didn't put my name on the official complaint against her with the community because the whole building conspired against her because she was so loud. Everyone like issued a formal complaint. They called the cops, but I was the one. I don't know the reason why, but for some reason now she likes me. Alley poops. Alley poops Punderdome. I think we can say Punderdome again on Twitter because they don't enforce anything here. Oh, but the stream is on other. But every time I say Punderdome, they come and wave a cease and desist in my face. So we had to change it to Plunderdome. All right, friends. Awfully quiet in the chat today. That's of course this is the way that it works. I had to leave to go do something else. You kept grilling me on my way out last time, but today the chat has gone silent. Yeah, well, I'm yawning at 3 p.m., 3:42 because it's just been a long day of doing shows. Now I got to go do an hour and a half pregame show. Thankfully, Sam Mitchell can talk, carry the show for me. Pregame show, then 2 hours of postgame show. No commercials in the first hour. I'm just, oh my God, I cannot wait to go to Japan. I cannot wait to go to Japan. With that said, I'm out of here, people. I'll see you guys on Friday, same time, same place. Come prepared with more questions. Hopefully, we'll be talking about how the New York Knicks can survive Game 6. All right, be in a little bit better mood than where we're at now. I'm out of here. See you on the timeline. Deuces.